Hello there Escapers, my name is Zenavilius and I would like to start the video off by saying a massive thank you to every single one of you. We reached over 9,000 subscribers a couple of days ago, which is a huge milestone for this channel, and I'd just like to say your support means a lot to me. That's what keeps me going for the most part, and your PMs, your comments saying thanks for the video, thanks for the guide, enjoyed it a lot, and grats on trim. I've had at least 100 to 200 people messaging me saying grats on trim, so thanks so much. Your support is absolutely invaluable. And also I asked you guys to vote on a poll in order to decide what I should be doing next, what's my next series going to be. Only 64 people voted. I thought a lot more would vote, but still that's a sizable amount, and the clear winner is Insane Final Boss. I was kind of expecting it. It's also what I wanted to do, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. But before I start that series, I need to stick to my word, and my word was that I will not start an Insane Final Boss series until I get the base pet. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be a guide, I guess, on how to max out your base pet chance. I've experienced a lot of different things. I've learned a lot as well. Didn't know that Araxxi had this many mechanics in terms of base pet chance, how to maximize it, how to maximize enrage, and so on. So I've learned a lot. It's a pretty old boss, 2.5 years old now, but there's so much to learn and so much has changed. So how do you max out your base pet chance? Well, first of all, I hope that you guys don't turn out as unlucky as I have, because I'm currently at 1800 to 1850 kills without the base pet. I know a few people who are drier than me, who have been drier than me, but this is pretty bad, so I hope you don't have to get into this situation. But essentially maxing out your base pet chance involves maximizing the difference between the enrage at the start of the kill and the enrage at the end of the kill. That's what your base pet chance depends on, how much enrage you accumulate over the course of the kill. Now you can do this with the method I'm going to show you, but ideally you want to make sure you do this when path 2 is open, but you do not want to be taking path 2, so either when it's 1 and 2 or 2 and 3, and you want to be taking either the top path or the bottom path. This is because by not taking path 2 when it's open, you can let Araxxi absorb all the acid on P4. That gets you an extra 40% enrage. The cap is usually plus 500%, but if you do this, then you can get it up to plus 540%, which is pretty cool, which means you can also increase your pet chance. So the basic method is the following. You do phases 1 to 3 as normal, making sure you do not lure any highly acidic spiders on phase 3 into Araxxor. In phase 4, you want to make sure that all the acid in the pool is absorbed by Araxxi before you get it to 50k life points, because when you get it to 50k, obviously it won't be able to do any more specials, one of its specials being the fact that it absorbs the acid from the pool. You also want to ideally kill off all the minions in phase 3, phase 2 and 3, so that you don't have to worry about them in this phase. If you do have to worry about them in this phase, you may have to delay getting Araxxi to phase 4, because you'll have to kill them and make sure all the acid is absorbed before you go on, if you want to maximize your chance. And in phase 4, obviously the acid will spawn at 25k. What you want to do is get Araxxi to as low a health as possible without killing it. So make sure you don't kill it, don't risk it too much, because if you kill it, obviously you won't maximize your base pet chance. Once you get it down low enough, turn off your run energy, put on your shield, and go around the room, walk around the room in circles. Now the basic method is to stay alive as long as possible until you cap out your enrage. So this will take about 2 or 3 minutes. And there are a few things you can do to stay alive. The most important thing by far is to have the Enhanced Devoted perk. Now this perk will save you so much food, trust me. This is by far the best thing I ever did when I was going for this, when I'm still going for this base pet. Just keep running around the room. The 3 abilities that are going to be really useful to you are Resonancing the Hit, which you're not praying against, so that you can maximize the heals. Usually whenever you resonance, especially at high enrages, you will just basically heal up to max, so you need to make sure you resonance, preparation, and anticipations. These 3 are the key abilities. Only use brews if possible, because if you use rocktails or any other normal food, you will lose adrenaline, and this may cause your adrenaline to go down below 50%. Obviously if you need to heal up quickly, do that, rocktail brew, but otherwise keep it above 50% so that you can use devotion when you're at very high enrages, because your enrage will go up very quickly as you're doing this, as the acid keeps bouncing around. Make sure you do not stop, not even for a split second, because if you do, well, the acid will hit you and you're probably gonna die. So yeah, at high enrage you might want to use devotion and reflect, but that will cause your adrenaline to drop. So the 3 basic abilities I mentioned are the most useful ones. You want to keep doing this until your enrage isn't going up. So make sure you keep checking the enrage by hovering a mouse over it. Once it caps out, which should be either at plus 500 or plus 520 or plus 540% from what you started the kill at, then you know that you can kill off Araxxi. So you want to switch to your weapon and just fire off the last few shots, making sure you're still doing all the things you need to be doing, and it should be dead, and you can reroll if you need to. If you feel like it, you still have half the chance it shows on your reroll interface if you don't reroll, but if you reroll you can obviously maximize your chances. You will forfeit the loot, and I have lost a lot of money by dying a lot and forfeiting all my loot just trying to get the base pet, and I've rolled some pretty incredibly close numbers to 0, which is what you need to get the base pet, but unfortunately I haven't got it yet. So yeah, that's basically the method, but there are a few things that will make your life a lot easier. Like I said, the most important thing is enhanced devoted. You want to have that on your armor. You also might want to have tank armor to increase the chance that you block an attack, and that will also save you food, but I don't think it will save you as much food as enhanced devoted. I don't know if it's just me, I seem to have enhanced devoted 10 or something. I just seem to block every other attack, but it saves your ass so much. You might also want to switch out your crackling perk to some other piece of armor that doesn't have that perk, because if you have that perk you might accidentally kill Araxxi. But if you're wearing a shield and you're not wearing anything in your main hand, then the max crackling can hit, which will be a melee hit, is 600, so that doesn't really matter too much, but it can hit like 2k if you have a weapon on, a shield bow or a main hand weapon and an offhand shield, then you will hit a lot. So you might want to bring a switch for that. Of course you might also just want to make sure you constantly do damage with crackling to maximize your chances of not panicking at the end and letting crackling do the work for you. So that also works, but I prefer to have a crackling switch. Amulet of Souls is extremely useful because you receive 10% less damage from the style you're protecting against, and along the tanky lines the superior Leviathan ring is also very useful, but not necessary, and so is Acto, I suppose. So if you have the Acto set from doing a lot of high enrage Telos and you perked it up, then sure, why not, just bring it. It can reset your defensives, but that's not going to be really useful because the main things you're going to be doing is cycling between anticipation, resonance and preparation. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm raging, it's mainly because of the Nightmare Gauntlets. Now, I love the Nightmare Gauntlets. I made a review video about them, and the reason I love them is because you can use snipe when you're walking, and even more importantly, you will guarantee a hit with snipe, basically, because you have a plus 25% accuracy on snipe. So you can keep walking around, use snipe, it won't cancel it, and you will hit it guaranteed. So for example, if you forgot to overload and you brewed down your stats and you're sort of panicking at the end, you reached your cap and you're kind of like, oh, I really need to kill this, otherwise I'm gonna die, I can't multitask with everything going on, then snipe will save the day because it will guarantee to hit whenever you activate it, and you can just sort of relax by using that. That's the main reason I like to use ranged, but I did try using mage. The problem with mage is it's a bit more inaccurate than ranged. I don't know why, but it is, and I just seem to have terrible luck with mage. I got like 2 eyes and a web with mage in 150 kills and I didn't get a single fang, so I've given up with mage. I know it's not the best idea because you have a higher fang chance with it, but oh well, I don't really care. I'm here for the pet chance, not the fang chance. I also like to bring a shield bow as well as a tier 90 shield switch. Now this is because with the shield bow I can use defensive abilities as well as being able to attack Araxxor at the same time, and the shield switch is for the main fight because you want to heal as much as possible from your reflex and your cocoons and your mirrorbacks. So that's the main reason I bring 2. Of course, if you're bringing ascensions you won't need to bring both of these because you'll just need a shield switch, and ascensions are better now since Monday anyway because they buffed needle strike. They were higher DPS than Nox, but now they're even higher DPS than they were before Monday. Obviously you want to bring a pack yak or a pack mammoth and either super brews and rocktail soups if you're not experienced, or if you're comfortable with it, bring brews and rocktails. Now I tend to bring a lot more brews than I used to like a week ago because I'm more experienced at this now and I feel I don't need the emergency healing as much, but you might want to bring some extra rocktails. You also might want to bring a bunyip in your pack yak to summon at the end there for some free heals to take your mind off it a bit because it can be quite intense if you haven't been used to it, and if you're lagging and you're not used to the prayer switches and resonances. And finally, don't forget your Ward of Ictalin effect. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this takes precedence over your Sign of Life. So if you've got this effect active and your Sign of Life effect active, this will activate first. And the problem with the Sign of Life is that it'll make you freeze whenever it activates. So it's basically useless here. Well, I guess it is a bit useful, but your character just freezes when it activates, and that basically means that acid will hit you twice. It will hit you after you heal up from the Sign of Life, so you'll die anyway, and the Ward of Ictalin effect doesn't do this, so you can keep walking around while it revives you, even though it heals you back less after you die. So this is from the Desert Pantheon Aura. It's extremely useful. You can obviously activate it at the same time as having another aura active, as long as you activate it and then take it out and then put the aura on. And yeah, those are the main tips I have for you guys. It takes a bit of practice to get used to it. It's debatable whether it's really worth it, because you will, if you're rerolling, you will forfeit most of your loot, and it takes longer to get the kill as well. I think it's worth it overall if you think about it, because you only spend what, 2 or 3 minutes extra, and your drop chance goes down from 1 in 800 to 1 in 400. So I think it's definitely worth it, even though you get less kills per hour, less loot per hour and all that. But if you're building in for the pet, definitely worth it. And the final thing I would like to say is I'd like to clear a misconception. You don't need to start your kill at a high enrage to maximize your pet chance. In fact, the most ideal scenario would be to start at 0% enrage and max out at 500 or 540% or 520% enrage. That would be the ideal scenario. That has the same pet chance as starting at 300% and going up to 840%, which is what I did last week. So that takes the stress off a little bit, I suppose, if there is any stress at all. It requires quite a bit of skill to make sure you don't use up your food quickly, so it will take some time. And personally, I've enjoyed it a lot so far. Like I said, I'm still going for the pet. My highest drop rate was actually a 1 in 195, which is ridiculous. But I've rolled a 6 and a 3, and I think I might have rolled a 5 or somewhere in between as well, which is really annoying. I've also rolled 2 and 1 in the past, but that was a long time ago. So I'm still going for the base pet. Wish me luck. I wish you guys luck. I hope my insights helped you guys out. But having said that, most of you watching probably do have the base pet, and it's probably just me that doesn't have it. So yeah, it's kind of fun to do this, but it's only going to last until I get the base pet. So hopefully I get it soon for my sake, for your guys' sake, so I can start the new Insane Final Boss series, which I'm super excited about, because I'm still of the opinion that the base pet is rarer than the Vitalis, and if I can get the base pet, I will definitely be able to get the Vitalis before I turn old and die. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.